result, individual participation...
During the annual Joan Kagezi Memorial Lecture, the Director of Public Prosecutions, Frances Abodo, highlighted an improvement in the rate of prosecution thanks to the increased number of prosecutors. Last year, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, or ODPP, recruited 100 state attorneys, which increased the number of prosecutors to 341. Abodo indicates that the ODPP registered a 22% increase in cases handled during the first half of the current financial year 2023-24, following an increase in staffing levels. She says the ODPP handled 112,000 cases out of the 125,000 registered at Magistrate and High Court and secured a 73% conviction rate. However, the conviction rate is higher when it comes to the number of corruption cases tried by the courts.
Anti-corruption courts, where we handle a number of corruption cases, handled about 116 corruption cases in the financial year, and we have a conviction rate of 90% at the anti-corruption court. This is very key, Your Excellency, because it sends a very clear signal that fighting corruption is going to continue.
Despite the painted picture of improvement in handling of cases, the head of litigation at Musangala Advocates and Solicitors, Asuman Matovu, is critical that it is too early to determine the performance.
Because on average, when you look at when is a matter supposed to be prosecuted, because as prosecution is to weigh its performance, it weighs its performance through case performance. How many cases have they prosecuted? How many convictions have they obtained? Now, for me to judge at this early stage, really I would be deceiving.
Matovu argues that there is a huge difference between a prosecutor and a defense lawyer. Many of the recruited individuals may have been.
Much as these are people who are advocates, these are people who have studied law, who are recruited to be state attorneys. We have different abilities and capabilities. We will find that by the time this person is appointed, maybe he was not so good in the area of criminal. Yes, this person was resounding, but was resounding in a very different area, a very different field. For example, family, for example, land, for example, corporate and commercial. Now, if you bring this person into another field, of course, he will have to experience some challenge.
He says the measurable difference observed is the presence of prosecutors in court.
In these courts we appear into, initially we didn't have these state attorneys. You go in court, they tell you the state attorney is not there. The state attorney has gone to another station. But now that excuse has ceased to happen, whereby at least the state attorney is there, but other excuses may come up.
Abodo says ODPP has mooted the idea for establishment of a training institute for prosecutors, just as it is with the judiciary and police, to offer refresher trainings. There was an aura of joy on the faces of the new prosecutors when Abodo extended her gratitude to the President for also exempting them from the payment of pay-as-you-earn payee.
Finance welfare has not only created a leveled ground amongst the criminal justice players, Your Excellency, but it has also motivated us to serve Ugandans with more zeal and dedication.
Although the number of prosecutors has increased, it has raised staffing levels to 45%, leaving out a gap of 455 prosecutors. Abodo argues that it is an awkward situation to have more judicial officers than prosecutors. The increase in numbers is expected to increase the capacity of prosecutors in the courts and lead to a smooth continuity in scrutiny of new files by those out of court. Jackson Onyango, ANTV.